Good morning, guys. Welcome back to Aksharadhare. I'm Devraj. I hope you guys are learning great and earning great. Also, following the tips which I have given in the previous videos, and hope those tips were very useful. So, today is the 9th January 2024. So, before going to start today's newspaper reading the Hindu, so I would request you guys to please subscribe the channel, like, and comment. If you like the video, please share it with your friends. It may be useful for somebody to utilize the opportunities from Akshadhara and the team. Let's start reading the newspaper The Hindu, which is very important for the point of competitive exams. So this is the front page. Election was free and fair, says Hasina. DRDO's anti-drone tech ready. Food inflation science. Veggie plate prices up by 12% in December. Exploring India's cultural heritage through GI tags. Over 500 products have been given status super. French bacon bore passes away. SEC said society release of 11 live convicts in Bilkis case. Bench reprimands ruling BJP government in Gujarat for acting in tandem with the prisoners to order their early release after usurping the power to do so. The men told to report back to jail in a fortnight. India Maldives discuss spat. Israeli steps into controversy. Three ash plants electrocuted while erecting banner for Star's birthday in Gadag district. DGC revises duty norms for pilots, allows more rest, fewer night flights. Book invited for award, application invited for courses at NLSU. BMRCL plans to install steel railings at all metro stations as part of city now safety measures. Commuters see connectivity between satellite bus stop and the Panjali Nagar metro station. They currently have to cover a distance of over 1 kilometer on foot from the metro station to the bus stop. Auto rickshaw drivers charge more than 50 for this short journey. 17 more new fire stations in Karnataka soon. Business Connect. Above average rainfall expected in Karnataka till March. South India Content Summit 2024 to be held in Bangalore today. Youth fatally knocked down by BMTC bus on Uttarali main road. Accidents are a stage protest. Tejas, a private firm employee, was on his way to office when the speeding bus hit him while attempting to overtake his bike. Four killed in separate road accidents in city. IED raids premises of Congress MLA. School Textbook Revision Committee to submit its report by January and 3-day conference on floriculture to begin today. HC expresses concern over not invoking penal action under SC/ST Prevention of Atrocities Act in manual scavenging cases. Gang booked for harassing techies. Police summon actors for partying late. HAL to participate in 10th edition of Vibrant Gujarat Global Trade Show. High Court bans mining within 20-kilometer radius of AKRS in Mandya district. The ban will apply even on existing mining licenses that were already granted by the authorities and will be enforced until the statutory study on dam safety is conducted by an expert body. Notices issued to firms set to develop coffee estates near Bhadra Sanctuary. Water contamination claims 1 lakh, 3 suspended. The RFO of Chikmagaluru in his report said the lands were located within the buffer zone of this wildlife sanctuary, declared Basavana as cultural ambassador of state. Sajjan Jindal suggests setting up industrial parks near airports. Two-day conference on constitution and national integration from February 24th. Lok Sabha elections, BJP draws a 100-day road map. A search engine for Tumakuru dialect. IITB team develops AI interface for colloquial Kannada. Called Grama Kannada. Do you search? The interface allows the user to search for and access hyperlocal information from the Tumakuru region in audio format. Bangalore space startup Bellatrix Aerospace reports success of its payloads launched on ISRO's POEM 3. These engines offer superior fuel efficiency and more precise control, paving the way for longer lasting and more maneuverable satellites. Get a daily dose of art this year. Beauty can be your daily companion with a calendar art on your work, a study table. Platform for poets. A mosaic of time, falling for beauty. TN Bank's investment of over 6 lakh crore at GIM. A total of 26 lakh 90,677 jobs, 57 jobs are expected to be generated from these investments, says Chief Minister M.K. Stalin at the conclusion of Global Investors Meet 2024. HC grants anticipatory bail to former MP Suresh Gopi. Priest whom once church had to lead archdiocese. Devotees can attract to Tirumala without any fear. TTD. And yourself in a million stories. Find yourself in a million stories. Curb the disillusionment with the traditional rule of law. Let's read this editorial page written by the former professor of law. Delhi University. The essential condition for the continued trust in the rule of law is the faith in the inherent goodness or desirability of the norm that sets the boundaries between the right and wrong. We are all taught by both the virtues of a norm abiding life. The Guru must be respected because he teaches us the norms. In the modern secular context, we are told to respect the fundamental norm, the Constitution of India. Even the father of the nation, M.K. Gandhi, considered the normative reason d'etre sacrosanct. For him, a duly enacted law needed to be respected. But he also said that it was the moral duty of his religion to oppose an unjust law by all democratic means. The Dandi March, a mass civil disobedience movement undertaken by Gandhi against the salt tax, set an example for the respect for norms when he agreed to be willingly subjected to criminal proceedings for breaking the law. But today, the rule of law faces a new credibility crisis, and the normative reason d'etre are subjected to disillusionments of at least two kinds. The first is those arising out of the outdatedness or infirmities in the law or laws, and the second, those arising out of an altered perception of law itself that treats law as a power resource which can be molded as per the social requirements. Decriminalization of penal law. As a part of a smart governance, the present government has addressed the problem of infirmities and outdatedness in laws by suitable amendments in the laws and their updation to a large extent. After a detailed identification of the problematic laws, in the first phase, the Jan Vishwas Amendment of Provision Act of 2023 was passed to bring about changes in 42 central acts of varied genre, ranging from the Indian Post Office Act 1898, the Railways Act 1989, and the Cinematograph Act 1952. The Jan Vishwas Act, piloted by the Ministry of Commerce and Industry, is primarily to achieve the objective of facilitating business activities in the statement of objects and reasons. Spelled the objectives, the outdated rules and regulations are anathema to democratic governance. Reducing the compliance burden gives impetus to business and improves the cost of living. Fear of imprisonment for minor offences is a major factor hampering the growth of the business ecosystem. Trust based governance necessitates a rationalization of monetary penalties and the gravity of the offense. In the second phase, the colonial period Indian Penal Code 1860, the Code of Criminal Procedure 1973, and the Indian Evidence Act 1872 were replaced by the Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita, the Bharatiya Nagarika Suraksha Sanhita, and the Bharatiya Sakshya Bill 2023 respectively. These new Indian penal laws have been envisaged to shed the colonial law legacy and at the same time read the penal laws of infirmities and update them to modern thinking in the field. It is hoped that the rule of law will be able to rebuild the credibility crisis with these laws coming into force. Crisis of credibility. We all accept and agree about the integrity of the rule of law for a democratic development. Scholars have already identified and underscored the rule of law index as an essential component of the national vision for development in the Vikshit Bharat journey. However, the real credibility crisis of the law of the rule of law is located not so much at the normative level but at the level of the rule of law reality, that is constituted by the perception and experiences of the consumers of the law, the victim and the victimizer, the enforcers of the law, the policemen, the courts, above all, the perception and the experiences of those who exercise overall command and the rule of law. The command group that in the contemporary context is constituted by the majoritarian will decide the ways in which the rule of law is to be understood and used as a power resource. Policing through encounters and now policing through bulldozers has gained currency to replace investigation, which involved visiting a scene of crime, interrogation of witnesses, arrest, search, and seizure. Often, the encounter bulldozer methods evoke a populist support and appreciation from the administration. But because these shortcuts are neither adequately debated nor subjected to predetermined democratic checks and balances, there exist huge possibilities of their gross abuse at the ground level. We need to learn from the two examples of abuse which led to suffering. In the first, the shooting of a young car mechanic of Algerian descent led to large-scale violence in several cities in France, resulting in police action against thousands of youth, mostly of Arab and Black origin. The French police asserted that they were at war with the savage hordes of victims, while the protesters sought justice based on respect for principles of legality, necessity, proportionality, non discrimination, precaution, and accountability. The second example was the custodial torture and civilian deaths in the course of security post action and inquiry after the abuse of army vehicles in Poonch district. A report in a leading daily said, but the allegations of custodial violence speak of a brutal, unacceptable high-handedness by the security forces. This is not a Naya Kashmir that the center talks about. These are the worst ghosts of the past. The charges, the circumstances must be thoroughly investigated and the guilty brought to book. Looking ahead, the traditional rule of law notion that is premised on uniformity, predictability, and certainty is crucially hinged upon normative fidelity that requires going through a cycle of processes before arrival at a guilty verdict leading to punishment. As against this, the modern day shortcut are abridged rule of law model looks for quick and reactive ways for doing repressive justice that focuses more on identifying that the targeted accused either on the basis of majoritarian dictate or cryptic information reaching the police or the civic administration. Since the abridged rule of law does not require going through a fixed cycle of process, the first action lie itself, that is the encounter, killing, or destruction of property by bulldozer, may constitute the final sanction or punishment. Though the abridged rule of law delivers quick and reactive justice, it is crude and makes justice a matter of chance, because it would be difficult to decide with a certainty who will shall be the next target, as an encounter killing her as the target of bulldozer action. Fortunately for us, the government of the day continues to repose faith in the traditional rule of law. It is hoped that before it is too late, we should be alerted to the dangers inherent in the growing fiat for a shortcut or an abridged rule of law model. Let's go to the next article. An ambition push for values, ethics, and higher education. Let's read this. The University Grants Commission has been issuing regulations, guidelines, and directives at breakneck speed that some of the important ones miss drawing the attention of the higher education community. One such guideline is Mulya Pravesh Prava 2.0, a modified version of Mulya Prava, which was notified in 2019. It seeks to inculcate human values and professional ethics in higher education institutions. The stated intention is to build value based institutions by orienting individuals and institutions towards developing a deep respect for fundamental duties and constitution values and bonding with the country. The trigger is the findings of a survey of human resource managers which highlight unethical practices in various organizations. The most prominent of these are favoritism is in hiring, training, pay and promotion, sexual harassment, gender discrimination in promotion, inconsistent view on discipline, lack of confidentiality, gender differentiation in compensation, non-performance factors overlooked in appraisals, arrangements with vendors for personal gain, and gender discrimination during recruitment and hiring. These vices may not be specific or exclusive to higher education institutions but could be rampant among them. None can assert that they are free of malpractices. The UGC must get credit for notifying the guideline, though it may not be sufficient to curb corruption and violations of ethics and integrity unless backed by sincere efforts to ensure that the provisions of Mulya Prabha are affected in letter or and sprint. Spirit. The move may not be more than a mere formality. The higher education regulators must demonstrate zero tolerance and act swiftly to quell even the smallest trace of corruption in the admission, examination, hiring processes, or for that matter, in any aspect of university administration. Emphasize on transparency. Mulya Prabha 2.0 underscores the need for utmost transparency in administration and highlights that decision making in higher education institutions must be solely guided by institutional and public interest and not be vitiated by biases. It seeks to abolish the discriminatory privileges of officials and urges the administration to punish the corrupt. It lays a stress on the criticality of encouraging persons at all levels to think and give their advice freely. The guideline expects higher education institutions to ensure integrity, trusteeship, harmony, accountability, inclusiveness, commitment, respectfulness, belongingness, sustainability, constitutional values, and global citizenship. This is a laudable and timely intervention as these values are receding. The authorities in and officers of universities must ensure that the provisions of their acts, statutes, ordinances, and regulations are strictly adhered to in letter and spirit. The guidelines requires higher education administration to conduct matters ensuring accountability, transparency, fairness, honesty, and the highest degree of ethics. It reminds them to act in the best interest of their institution, create a conducive culture and work environment for teaching, learning, and research and development the potential of their institution. It further asserts that officers and staff must refrain from misappropriating financial and other resources and refuse to accept gift, favor, service, or other items from any person, group, private business, or public agency which may affect the impartial performance of duties. Issue of confidentiality. The emphasis on the need for and the importance of maintaining the confidentiality of information is being using as it runs counter to the right of information as an instrument to ensure accountability. Higher education institutions must, in fact, be mandated to voluntarily disclose all critical information and subject themselves to public scrutiny. The guideline would do well to urge them to promptly upload agendas, proceedings, and minutes of the meetings of their decision-making bodies, subcommittees, and standing committees. They must put up their annual reports and audited accounts in the public domain. This will deter malpractices and go a long way in restoring public confidence in the workings of the institutions. Asserting that teaching is a noble profession and that teachers play a crucial role in shaping the character, personality, and career of the students. It requires them to act as role models and set examples of good conduct and a good standard of dress, speech, behavior worth emulating by students. It asks them to abide by the provisions of the acts, statutes, ordinances, rules, policies, and procedures of their universities, but maintain silence on the issue of teachers' associations, unions, and their support. Mulya Prabha 2.0 expects staff and student unions to support the administration in development activities and raise issues in a dignified manner. Although this sounds like suggesting that they act and be the team B of the administration and desist from raising issues concerning their members. Associations and unions of stakeholders are pressures groups to exert collective influence to protect the rights and interests of their members. While no one could ever suggest that they always be at loggerheads with the administration, it may be too much to expect them to take sides with the administration. Higher education institutions are communities of scholars where no one should be more equal than the other. Each stakeholders must be allowed to proactively participate in protecting, preserving, and promoting the culture and standards of their institutions. The idea of collegiality must require the administration to engage with and consult stakeholders in decision making. Mulya Prabha 2.0 insists that staff and students unions must raise issues in a dignified manner, as the guidelines does not define or delineate what dignified manner entails. The provision could be misused to threaten, shun, silence, or at least undermine the collective voices of the stakeholders. The threat is real and imminent. Associations and unions of teachers, staff, and students have often been banned and suspended on the slightest pretext. Their office bearers and elected representatives have generally been accused of violating the code of conduct and acting against the interest of the institutions. Many are fighting battles for the survival and courts of law. It is obvious that provisions such as these may cause more harm than good. Discordant voices may, at times, cause inconvenience to the powers that be. In the ultimate analysis, they only strengthen institutions by improving the quality and the sustainability of the decisions. Sibling rivalry, why Sharmila and Tree should give some boost to the Congress chances in AP. Unlawful remission. SC ruling is such searing indictment of Gujarat for heading conflicts release. Understanding the use carbon border tax. The fight against caste Christians. Exploring India's diverse cultural heritage through GI tags. Over 500 products across all the states have been given GI tags so far. Bilkis case SC sets aside release of 11 live convicts. PM suggests rollout of 3 new criminal laws in the UTs by year end. Government is now looking at the paced implementation of the legislation I notified in December. All modules of crime and criminal tracking network and systems are not being used to their full potential by states, says a police official. A cybersecurity session delved into the need to protect critical infrastructure from organized cyber attacks. Look into this delisting of cookies, Jomis from ST list. DRDO counter drone system ready, handed over to private firms. Waves sought on guidelines of accessibility in cinemas. EC failed to provide a substantive response to concerns by India. Grant a permission of a classic case of using SC to violate law verdict. Several facts regarding the application for premature release in Bilki's case that had been suppressed before court. Bench says it odds that court was defrauded into delivering its decision to consider a plea for premature release under 1992 policy. Opposition hails SC hard against premature release as a restoration of justice. The tendency to murder justice for electoral gains is dangerous for a democratic system. SC decision again showed the country who gives patronage to criminals. Rule of law does not mean protection to a fortunate few. Justice Nagaratna. Article 142 cannot be invoked in favor of respondents to allow them to remain out of jail, as that it would be an instance of this court's in premature to ignore the rule of law, avoid enforced remission without application of mind Supreme Court. This is what a justice feels like, says Bilki's case. Bano. Vikshit Batra aims to help schemes reach all beneficiaries. The Prime Minister says that over 12 lakh new applications received for Ujjwala scheme since the start of the Yatra, adding that health checkup 2 crore people has been carried out. He says that Modi ki guarantee has become a buzzword. Our government wants the present and future generations not to have to live the life that the earlier generation lived. Four more NCC units to be raised in J&K and Ladakh. Defense officials Delhi ULFA climb up 3 drone attacks. Gift City is set to host 10th Gujarat Global Investment Summit from tomorrow. How to farm bench to Europe leave against a collegium system. CGI. Modi lauds Asina on pool victory in Bangladesh. 6 people-centric partnership. Germany ready to live a veto on sale of fighter jets to Saudi Arabia. TTP kills 6 Pakistani policemen going to escort vaccination team. China's valued ally and integral collaborator, Maldives Muyuju. Russia evacuates hundreds from border city amid the Korean strikes. Back in power, Hasina says election was free and fair. Prime Minister brands opposition Bangladesh for national parties, Nationalist Party, a terrorist organization, UN's rights. Chief asks government to ensure that human rights of all Bangladeshis are taken into account. Israeli attack kills top Hezbollah and commander. Pope Francis calls for universal ban on surrogate parenting. French PM resigns as Macron seeks to relaunch presidency. Oppenheimer tops Golden Globes on bitter sweet night for Bobby. Onions, tomatoes, pulses bump up veggie plates prices by 12% in December. Crisil Market Intelligence and Analytics monthly report on food plate cost indicates consumer food price inflation may have risen behind in November's 8.7% piece. National Statistical Office to release December retail inflation numbers this Friday. Ashok Leyland 2023 CV sales surpassed pre-COVID volumes. Mercedes-Benz India to invest 200 crore rolls out new GLS. Brace for slower economic growth in 24 to 25, says Chrysler. Vistara may merge by mid 2025. Kannan. DLF sells 1,113 luxury flats worth 7,200 crore within 72 hours. Spike Mull's 1,900 crore expansion plan firm to raise more debate. Automobile retail sales rose as 11% annually in 2023. Further, how a chopper ride sealed Beckenbauer's Cosmos stint. Beckenbauer was confidence personified in World Cups. Childhood interest spurred Beckenbauer Wanderlust, a German prophecy that struggled to come true for 24 years. Der Kaiser branch Beckenbauer 2878 passes away, the milestone moment in a glittering career. The much decorated German great, one of the three players along with Brazil's Zagallo and France's just champs to win the World Cup as player and coach, also involved himself in administration. Women in blue keen to hand a grueling season on a high. Rohit and Kohli's return reveals hope and apprehension about the future. Karnataka begins its campaign with victory, and the only doubts the home side will have is the failure to grab the bonus point that comes with an innings victory or a 10 wicket triumph. Proud to have received my first Ranji cap at my home ground, Rohit. BAI to fund 28 shuttlers won Isha win Olympic quota. I always wanted to be like a Saurabh Seasborn Thomas. New lands the latest in the never handing debate on pitches. India captain Rohit Sharma did not hold back when he called out the hypocrisy in only slamming pitches that aided spin and not space from a day one. However, the Cape Town wicket also highlighted the consequences of experience in curation. The pitch was heavily weighted in favor of the bowler. I don't think it was a good pitch, but not an impossible pitch. You can't make 100 or a 40 on an impossible pitch. South Korea's superconductivity climb revived with new data. Last year, material dubbed LK-99 hogged headlines after South Korean researchers claimed it could be a room temperature superconductor. Soon after, independent researchers found problems in the group's data and nixed the claim. But the findings of a new study are offering it a second life. Swiss Thai group's close fossil have Paris packed carbon offsets. Albert Einstein, the world's best known face of genius. Text and context, a level to which India's agriculture exports will reach by 2030. Amount Vietnamese automaker seeks to invest in India. The increase in India's coal imports in November. The increase in people seeking asylum in Germany. The amount to be invested by government in river cruise tourism. Debating India's new hit and run law. Transporters and commercial drivers are demanding the withdrawal or amendment of Section 106 of 2 of the Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita 2023. They argue that while strict action in hit and run cases is necessary, the new law has several flaws that need reconsideration. Now, viewing English, how surgical care in India is a neglected part of public health. When it comes to lack of access to surgical care, India is not an anomaly but the archetype for low and middle income countries. For the last 7 decades, India's focus on surgical care has been limited, with a little attention in the most recent national health policy. Ekvijana Indian achievers and foreign shows on the occasion of Pravasi Bharatiya Divas that is observed on January 9th. Let's read this editorial page. Let's if you guys think it is important, you guys can read this so which so little important for the point of the current events like the general studies paper. So I hope you guys have enjoyed the newspaper wording, and if you guys keep reading for tours to make you better in English communication. If you guys have any doubts or comments, you guys can leave the comment in the comment box. I'm very happy to resolve your doubts. See you in the upcoming videos, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel and share with your friends. It may be useful for somebody to utilize the opportunities from Aksharadhara handwriting. Let's make it hand for today, and see you in the upcoming videos, guys. Have a great day. Bye bye. Take care.